So today I decided to try Morgan at opposite ends today. So we switched sides. I wanted to make sure that she had her skill level complete, and I have a lot more room to change things up, change her flights up, get her starting to go around corners and starting to have to turn a little bit. So as you can see, she's kind of wedged in that little nook there, and she has to either fly out and turn or just fly out straight. So I'm just changing where I'm at. I've incorporated her owner Patty into this as well, who's standing around and moving around. And then I'm also working around her. So I go and I try to stand around Patty or in between Patty and my husband or whatever. Anything to just change it up and work on our skills.
Come here, my precious.
Morgan! Yes! Look at those skills! I'm also starting to implement the cue. The cue for Morgan to fly to me is her name, Morgan. So you're going to hear me use that right before she tends to fly, and that's because I want to pair that up with getting her to come to me on that cue. So I'm starting to implement that now. It's not 100%, but it is already doing really, really well, and I'm just using her body language to insert that cue. So when I see she's more likely to be about to fly is when I say that, so that she pairs it together with being her cue. Stay. This is the first time this day that I stand directly next to Patty, her owner, and try to get her to come. And because she shows so much hesitancy, I decide to move because in the past she comes pretty quickly, and this is just telling me she's uncomfortable and she's not quite ready. And you can see the second I move away, go to my new spot, and then call her, she has no hesitancy. Here I start pushing Morgan to fly to me when I'm just barely out of sight, and she has to round a corner, which is hard for her. So she can barely make me out around this corner when she flies to me, which is a really big deal. I've been rewarding Morgan with pine nuts and pieces of walnut, but this day I added chunks of walnut. They were pretty large pieces, and so she was taking her time stepping down from me because she was still eating these giant chunks. So it wasn't done out of anything else other than just she was still eating, which is a really good sign.
Who's doing awesome? Is it you?
What you just saw me do is I am just going over more of our communication. So that's my signal for wanting to pet her. She fluffed up, told me she wanted to be pet, and I clicked and rewarded because I want that kind of behavior. I want that good communication, and we communicated really well. So when it's clear, I'm just constantly reinforcing that that's a good thing. After building her confidence a bit with flying around the corners and doing a little bit of almost out of sight, I decided to push her boundaries again and try standing next to Patty, her owner, and this time it worked and was successful. So this is still the beginning stages of building her skills. Eventually I want to be out of sight completely where she can't see me. But here I'm peeking around the corner so she can see that I'm there, and then I'm slowly stepping back.
Although they maybe, well, they probably would have done the whole body.
Come on.
Doesn't make sense for them just to do a leg.
Morgan. Wow.
That was like a circle.
That time I included what we call Simon Says, where I got her into a rhythm of thinking that I was going to peek around the corner each time, but I didn't that time, so she actually flew to me without seeing me.
Morgan. If she flies to me, it doesn't hurt my head.
Yes, good girl.
Morgan.
Good girl.
Mom, try.
So you're about to see me push Morgan too far, and we backtrack a little. She's never flown through a doorway, and I went through to another room. So I know that this immediately affects her confidence. I go over, I have her walk over to me to step up. Again, we do the foot first versus beak first communication thing. And the reason that I went so much closer to her this time is we just have a lot of stuff on the counter that could go flying, a lot of dishes in the sink, and I just don't want to risk anything breaking or causing more issues. So at this point, I need to rebuild her confidence because that freaked her out a little bit that she wasn't capable. So she has a little bit more hesitancy. She wants to go up onto my shoulder for comfort.
think she'll start.
And what I want to do is set her up for a flight that I know she's capable of and that she can do really, really well. So I want to show her that you are capable, you can do it. Although it is incredibly important for these birds to have these failures, just like it is for us, we need to fail in order to succeed. And Morgan hasn't really failed thus far, so this is a really big lesson for her. And it's a really important one. So once I can get her to build back up and do a couple flights that she knows that she can do and is capable of, then after our pep talk right here, yes, it's part of my training, I do give pep talks, we get back to it and I slowly introduce her to the doorways so that she can eventually fly through them. But first, I need to show her that it's okay, don't be scared. You fall off a bike, you fall off a horse, you get right back on. Okay, have an idea. You're gonna be great, so don't worry, okay?
Mom, I could hide the treat from her elsewhere. Behind my back. She doesn't notice and eat them.
I need those treats again, don't I? I need those treats again? Target stick? So we haven't flight trained in this room before, so we're gonna move to this room so I can eventually get her flying through here. Doorway.
Driving by.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Oh.
This is a fun game. Okay. Good girl.
Oh.
Okay.
I don't know if this is such a good idea for the cat.
You need a minute? You good? You wanna just go? Morgan. Yeah, easy, right? Good girl. Good girl. Can you do this? Morgan. Good girl. Good job.
Really good flight. That's why she had to wait.
Yeah. Good girl.
Sad.
Okay, let's try this. You wanna try? Come on. You might want to be behind her, Dave. Come on. Good job. You did it. You did it. It's okay. That's a learning curve. That one's a learning curve. It's okay. It's a little harder, huh? Sometimes you're gonna be in spots like that. Your wings are gonna hit. You gotta learn when to put them in. Okay?
Not what I expected, Dad.
Come on. You can do it. Last one. Okay, come on. Morgan. Good girl. Oh, good girl, Morgan.
Wow.
That was awesome, huh?
That was so.
Do you think I could do one more,
She flew.
babe? What do you think?
This is where we always
Should I
say,
end?
that was so awesome, we should do one
I really
more.
want to do one more.
All right, Mom. One more.
She laughed.
That's it.
I think I should stop.
I think you should too.
Darn it. I'm so excited.
All right.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a perfect example of our rule.
Maybe the
When you say you want to do one more, I really want want to. I don't know if I'd have the self-control if my husband wasn't right here.
It's also why you should always have 2 trainers.
Because I know if I do one more, if it sucks, he's gonna be like, ah, I told you. I know. You wanna just hang out?